Welcome to the Urban Wall Street Project. I'm your host, Earl Christian III, of course, and today I have an amazing show with a dynamic woman. She's a director, she's a choreographer for the Garifuna Dance Company. I had the privilege of being at her festival in December, and you're going to be seeing a part 2 of this coming up soon. Without further ado, I want to introduce you to the amazing, the incomparable Miss Luz Soliz. Miss Soliz, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Earl. Thank you for inviting me. I'm happy to be with you here at Urban Wall Street Project, and I love being here. Thank
Excellent.
you.
Now, myself, and I'm sure some of my, my audience, my viewers who are in different parts of the city, the country, and in the world for that matter, may not necessarily be familiar with the Garifuna culture, and not even the dance company. So before we go into this, your art, let's just talk about the Garifuna culture itself.
Well, there's a lot to be said about the Garifuna culture. There are many people that have done extensive research. Unfortunately, it has not been the research. Most of the research have not been done by Garifuna people. It's been, history that we have out there. There are a few Garifuna people that began to write in the north coast of Honduras, Belize, and Guatemala. Garifuna people originated in the island of St. Vincent and the Grenadine. Many, many years. These are African descendant people that came to the Americas and they mixed in the Caribbean with the Arawak Indian, the Caribbean Indian. And so if you read the book, they say they came before Columbus, so we are part of that expedition that came from the Kingdom of Mali with the Mandingans that came to the Americas probably 2,000 years ago or more, because we have that language. We call the language Garifuna. The people are called Garifuna. The culture is Garifuna. We were exiled from the island of St. Vincent in 1797. There's some people from Europe that love the island. Right. So, they wanted to plant sugarcane because they have to increase their economy. So, the people fought for many years to keep the island, and eventually, when the chief Joseph Satuje died, the people were exiled to the north coast of Central America. Hence, we are in Honduras, Guatemala, Belize. We maintain this wonderful language that was spoken in the Caribbean before Columbus. It's not extinct. The Arawak Indian language is not extinct. A lot of times people say, oh, the Taino Indian died off, or they're not existent anymore, so the language is dead. The Garifuna woman speaks that language today.
Right. Now, the Garifuna language, give me a taste, and then, of course, you can translate it for me, but give me a taste of the Garifuna language.
Okay, gawala tani nari ngubulo Garifuna langugia, ngiri hagamba bani ngwele Honduras na lubai wadima lunala balisi na gawala tesubuduri na Garifuna. Ana ge hari dogo tonu ago subudi humuti lo Garifuna la dogo to. Subi muti ge kala nari ngubede Earl.
Sure. It sounded beautiful now. Give me the English translation.
Right. So that was just the little taste of the sound of the Garifuna. In the Garifuna home, there are 2 languages that are spoken. The Arawak Indian language, the Garifuna woman speaks, and the Caribbean Indian language, which the male speaks. And so, but we understand a particular language. There are certain terms that I might use. A male is not going to use because it's a male language, or it's a female language per se. And certain terms a male will use, I cannot use. So the male might say wuguri for men, and I have to say eyeri. Okay. He would say wuri for the woman, and I'll say hinyaru. That's my language for that, but we both understand each other. It's amazing. But what I said before is like, if you see me with this particular costume, this clothing is a traditional Garifuna clothing. If you're from Honduras, Guatemala, Belize, this is traditional ours, so you understand. Just by looking at me here, you already know this is from the Caribbean, this is from the Central America.
Excellent.
Yes.
Now, when it comes to, in a Garifuna household or in a home culture, you said there's 2 different languages, like the man uses one and then the female uses, because certain words are maybe more masculine and maybe one's feminine. Right. How did that come about?
It comes about with the history in the Caribbean, and we are told that the Arawak woman was stolen by the Carib men. Okay. And so therefore she kept her language. Particularly, they mix it at times, but there's a lot of terms that the male say aule when he say I am. This is me. He say aule, but I can't say aule because I'm female. I was about to say nuile. You can't be doing all of this. Right. So and it has to do with the being, macho, whatever it might be. But that's part of the culture.
I got you.
And so it comes from a mixture of the Caribbean Indian. The male is mostly Caribbean and the female, and the African. It came from the Kingdom of Mali many, many years ago. The Garifuna people is the only African descendant tradition, culture that maintains the traditional language in the Americas. You know, we are from this hemisphere, from the Americas, and we maintain the language. Most of the African descendant communities, they either speak a French language or some kind of a dialect of French or English, broken English, patois, something of that sort. But the Garifuna maintained the language that was there before, way before Columbus, and the songs and the dances, they all, the way they were in day one, even the drumming, everything consisting with this language, with this tradition.
Now, you know, we're here in New York, and I'm pretty sure there's Garifunas people in different parts of, you know, the country, America, but here in New York, do we have a nice population of Garifunas?
Yes, a very large amount. There's probably more Garifuna in New York City than in Honduras itself. Wow. Honduras is about 10% of Garifuna community, probably a little more to 15, but there are about 100,000 Garifuna here in New York between Bronx, Manhattan, and Brooklyn. And there are lots of Garifuna in Los Angeles, Boston, New Orleans, Florida. They're all over the United States. We're everywhere.
Now, you know, and it's amazing because, you know, I like to, you know, consider myself knowledgeable in a variety of different areas. Of course, I'm not omniscient, and I'm never going to be, but I'm not familiar. I'm just trying to understand, going to, you know, a HBCU and studying, you know, the culture of African American and different cultures, whether it's from, you know, the islands of Haiti or just Cuba or Colombia or just any area during that Middle Passage. You know, we all stopped. There was 9 different ports, so in a lot of different places. How is it that the Garifuna culture and just that legacy has kind of evaded just the general knowledge?
Well, what do you mean? That there's not enough information about it?
Right. Like, how is it that
Well, what happened is that what we're doing now is like to motivate young people to be writers. You know, a lot of time with our history as far as African descent, no matter where you are, you could be from Brazil or from Colombia, from Uruguay, if you know that there are African descendant people all over Latin America. Exactly. Everywhere. And it's not shown. If you look at the Spanish television, it's usually just the light-skinned Spanish with the long hair. And it seems like Latin America, Latin is just that. But there's a lot of African descendant people in Latin America. And we are from Latin America. Right. But what happened is that I would say from where I come from, Honduras, Central America, Trujillo, and from my father's side, I am really, my generation is the first one that graduated from college. In our country, in the old times, just like in the United States, if you were black, in the old times, you can only go to the 3rd grade in the community where I come from. The Garifuna beliefs have better opportunity because I think that the British allowed them to go to, you know, England, and they can study a little more. But Honduras was colonized by the Spaniards, so I suppose they really didn't care after they took all the gold and went back to Spain. So the level of education was different. So now what we're doing with the people who have the opportunity to go to high school, graduate from college, is to write, guys. You know, it's time to write. And we can write our history, you know it, we know it, and I'm one as well, you know, I put myself in that bunch too. And we need to begin to do our own research. We need to begin to be anthropologists so that we can write our own stories.
Excellent, excellent.
Yes.
Now, that's amazing. Now, just being a historian and giving me a nice history lesson, I'm so thankful. But, you know, you also do your thing, and I was, myself and my production partner, we were blessed to be a part of your cultural extravaganza, the Garifuna Cultural Extravaganza, and you'll be seeing that in part 2, because this is just the lead-in, and you're going to be very, very pleased with this half-an-hour show production that we put together. So this is just giving you a little background, a little history on what you will be seeing shortly. But dancer and choreographer, when did you begin your trek as a dancer and a director and choreographer? Well,
as a Garifuna dancer, I direct and choreograph for Garifuna Dance Company, which is a dance company that I founded. As a Garifuna person, it's normal to know the dances. Most people, you know, as like you are African American, you will most likely know about hip hop, Get Light, and all that.
I Get Light. Go ahead, what you know, Luz, about Get Light?
All right, so if you're Garifuna, you just are born dancing punta. It's just a thing, you know. If you're from Santo Domingo, you dance merengue and so on. And when I studied dance, I went to college, went to Bard College, and I studied dance, and I was studying Maurice Cunningham, Jose Limon, the classical ballet and all these modern dance, Graham and all of these different people that really did beautiful technique of dance, and I loved it very much. But when I went to Teachers College to do a master's, I wanted to write my thesis on something related to my culture. And that's when I began, because I couldn't find any information related to the dances, because no one really has done it. Everybody dance, we all dance, we sing and we dance, we drum, but no one had really taken the time to create a booklet or something that will be found in the library or bookstore or something of that sort, which is something that we're working towards.
Right.
And so that motivated me to begin a dance company. And we call it Hamaleli Wayuno Garifuna Dance Company, which means Hamaleli Wayuno means voices of our ancestors, Garifuna Dance Company, because we sing the voices of our ancestors, really. And so that motivated me to begin this dance company, because I just couldn't find information out there. And a lot of people did not know anything about Garifuna. If you say Garifuna, I couldn't find information under the word Garifuna. It was always translated to Black Caribs.
Okay.
So when I went to the Schomburg Center, it says, we don't have no Black Caribs, we have Garifuna people.
Okay,
you know, so I like it kind of like
excellent.
that. You know?
That's a good thing. That's a beautiful
erasing
thing.
all that prejudice kind of stuff.
Surely, surely. And I love your tenacity and dedication to making sure people are aware and concise with their knowledge of Garifuna. So how long has the Garifuna Dance Company been in existence?
We started in 1992.
Okay.
So that's about approximately 18 years now.
So I'm sure you know, there's been some highs, there's been some lows, there's been some struggles.
Yes.
You know, there's always, one of the things about the Urban Wall Street is we want to educate individuals, we want to entertain you, we want to let you know what some of the things might be necessary. Now, there may be someone who's interested in starting a dance company themselves.
Right.
Maybe not Garifuna per se, but generally when you decide, I want to start a dance company, there's probably parallels that you need to make sure you cover, irrespective of what the type of dance is going to be. As a director and a founder of a dance company, what suggestions would you offer to someone who felt, you know, I want to start a dance company as well?
Right. Number one, the person have to really like dance. You have to love dance and study dance. You know, go to school. There's always opportunities to go to school. If you're in high school already, take dancing. You know, go to performing arts high school, or if your high school has a dance program or a dance club, go to it, be part of it. The other thing is that when you go to college, if you really want to be a choreographer, the best thing to do is to major in dance. And at the same time, I always tell young people, always take education courses towards whatever it is that you're majoring. Take education courses, take everything that relates to teaching, just in case you have to fall back in something. You can always teach young people in your neighborhood. You go into the schools and teach and earn a salary, especially particularly when you want to be an artist. So you have to love what you do, and you have to pick what technique you want to develop. There's so many techniques out there. The Catherine Dunham technique, which is beautiful, from the Caribbean, connected with the Haitian folklore. There's Garifuna dancing, there's ballet, there's modern dance. Which kind of modern dance? There's O'Saley, Mont Cunningham. You just have to pick whichever one that you want and combine it. I always tell young people, relate your studies with your culture and teach the young people in your community so that they get to know themselves, and you're always going to do well. Don't worry about it. But you have to major in dance, and you have to take a lot of dance classes so you know. Study dance, study the history of dance, very important, and know the different techniques so that you know how to defend yourself when the time comes.
Right, so the Garifuna Dance Company has been in existence for 18 years, and I'd say that festival that some people are seeing right now, you're seeing some imagery of that behind us playing, and you're going to be seeing more of that in coming weeks. But you know, there's always positive things, there's good things. So people want to, you know, when you think about starting something or a business, or a dance company or a daycare center, whatever, you always think about all the great things that you want to do, and we rarely think about, you know, Murphy's Law, some of the things that can, you know, go awry. What's some obstacles over the course of 18 years having a dance company that you faced and had to overcome?
A lot. The main one is consistency with my people, you know, because the Garifuna people have Garifuna within. Sometimes they don't think they have to go to class and practice and stretch. You know, you want to get there, and they just want to dance. But you have to stretch. You have to, you know, do certain exercises so that you are able to do certain performances that are not just in living room, you know, taking it to the stage. Back home, we dance in the living room or in a community center, but not so much in the theater, because the culture is for the people, so you dance whatever, whenever, however.
Right.
So now we want to extend it to the theater so that the training is a little bit different. So there's a little resistance in there, you know, with my community. So that's like up and down situation with that.
Okay.
Yes.
But then, of course, there's been, so now the Garifuna Dance Company, you travel to other cities, other countries?
We travel to, you know, just right now within the tri-state. You know,
Okay.
we have it practically, it's a dance company, yes, but it's more like a school.
Okay.
We're always training the young people. Most of the young people that are in this company are born here. So they sometimes lack of the language, particularly the songs. If you grow up in Honduras, Guatemala, or Belize, you're gonna hear these songs a lot back home. Saturdays, Sundays, people gather, they sing it. The young people don't have the opportunity here. So you have to come to the class to learn the song. So we teach them the song so that we can translate them later on stage into, you know, a whole musical type of event.
Amazing. Now, I'm sure, like I said, there's always been some great performances, some great experiences. But if you can, you know, over the 18 years with your dance company, can you tell me 3 of the, I guess, your most memorable highlights of doing what you do?
3 of the most memorable highlights is when we see the faces of people that didn't know anything about Garifuna, and we tell them what Garifuna is, and we sing the songs, and we shake the maracas, and they say, wow, you know, that's what beautiful. The place where we had the performance at the 29th of November, it was at the New Covenant Cathedral. We thank the New Covenant Cathedral for allowing us to do the performance there. And the wife to the bishop came to me and said, wow, I never heard of the Garifuna before. This was so great. It's educational to us, especially that you had the master ceremony explaining the meaning of each dance and explaining about the Garifuna. That was so beautiful. And just by seeing her face light up because she got new information, that's really memorable. Yes.
Beautiful. Now, I know, let's talk some about it, because when I was, you know, of course, working, but I was there, and I was in awe, too, looking at some of these amazing, you know, routines in different styles, different, you know, costumes. Can you tell me what's some of, because my audience is going to see that show, but they won't have the privilege of having you kind of identify what we're seeing at the time. So just kind of talk about the different dances and routines that occurred that they will be seeing on that special.
What they're seeing right now behind us is something that we call Yurumi Geruwa Yuna. Is a hungu type of rhythm, and it deals, the song has this memory of, it's a song that it's almost like national anthem for the Garifuna people, because it tells about where we're coming from, and it tells about where we arrive. And every time we say we're looking for Garifuna like us through this particular song. It's called Hungu Hungu. The women put these songs together, and this particular one has the history of the people within it. And if you're looking at the dancers with the basket, within the Hungu Hungu dance, we call it offerings, because we're offering this performance to God Almighty, to our ancestors, and to a viewer. So you see the basket, they're full of grace and full of love.
Oh, that's an amazing time.
Yeah, that's one. That's good. And in between, you will see punta dancing is one of the traditional dances. I think the costume usually varies at time, but there's a costume that you will see with red, green, and yellow. That's punta dancing. It's a traditional dance. It's usually back home. It was done originally done only for wakes. It's amazing. So now today, punta is danced almost anywhere, but our master of ceremony explained that during the performance what is puntas for. Punta is done for anything now. Everybody's dancing punta almost anywhere. Okay. Yes. And you will see sambe, you will see chumba, and I will come back and probably will show each dance, and people can you know, identify each one. Or if there's maybe a time where the master ceremony within the show can tell the name of the dance, maybe, you know, in that way.
Now, in the Garifuna culture, you know, every culture has their own specialty, because, you know, it's all about, I love to eat, and when I talk about some of the dishes, is there some Garifuna dishes, you know, meals that are prepared that I might not be aware of? Talk about some of the meals of the Garifuna culture.
There's a lot of meals. There's so much. Even though we live in a Spanish country, but our meals are very African and indigenous. It's amazing. There's a meal that's made with green plantains. You mash it in a mortar, in a mortero, and it's called hudutu. We call it hudutu because you mash the plantains like a mashed potato with this plantain, and you make a soup with coconut, and you put fish in it. And you eat that. When you eat that, you get really full, and then you have to really take a nap after that. Siesta.
Now, I know in a lot of cultures, you know, especially from you know, international areas, and whether it's the Latin nations or African nations, there's a lot of different maybe home remedies, as we call
Right.
them. Are there any Garifuna health home remedies that are
yeah.
not conventional medicine?
There's a lot of them. There's so many. Most Garifuna people in the old times, here you really have a lot of concrete. Back home you have the backyard, you can plant herbs and all that. And most people are practically healers without even realizing it. Because even young people, if you catch a cold, the first thing they're going to say, hey, you got to get maba lo sidro, lemon and honey to get rid of it. And codfish liver oil gets all the cough off. So
right.
You all know that's a recipe. But codfish liver oil with hot water, lime, and honey, and it gets rid of all of that cold. That's one of the remedies. There's a lot of them, though. We can talk about more later on.
Sure.
Yes.
Now, you're the Garifuna Dance Company, 18 years, which is an amazing, situation, and I commend you and I congratulate you for having a dance company for so long and founding it. Where would you like to see your dance company, elevate to, as we're going into a new decade now?
Right. As we go into a new decade, we would really love to have our own place, a building where we can have Garifuna Heritage Center for the Art and Culture. This is where people can go, oh, I would like to take a punta dance class today, and just go into Garifuna Heritage Center and just, pay for a class and take the class, learn about the class, the drumming. People can go and say, oh, I want to learn the Garifuna drumming, and have that center, that space. As far as the company, I would like the young people to travel more. Those who desire to travel, there's a trip right now that we're invited to go to Texas. We want to have that possibility of going without any financial difficulties.
Right, right.
So we want to travel and get to be known worldwide. Yeah, internationally, nationally, and internationally. Yes.
Now, how many members, dancers, are part of the dance company?
Part of the dance company is about 30 members.
About 30. And the age ranges from?
The age ranges from 12 years old to, my mom is 80. She's the oldest member.
80?
Yeah.
And was she a part of the, was she in the?
She sews, and in that evening, no, she wasn't on stage. But a lot of time when we do community outreach programs, she's right there with us.
And do you find that the kids, so at 12 years old, the average 12-year-old, they want to be out with their friends.
Right.
Are they really excited and they're really?
They're excited. They love it. Yeah, we have one 12-year-old. The youngest young person that you see there, she's about 12. It's Tanisha. She's all over the place. She loves dancing. A lot of times I have to know, you're not doing this one, you're not ready. And before I know, she's dressed.
There you go. There you go. So beautiful. No, before we could talk for so long, but 30 minutes goes by so fast
really
when things are good.
Yes.
But what's one thing you'd like for people to know? Even 30 seconds, 60 seconds. One thing you'd really like for people to know and understand about the Garifuna culture beyond what we've talked about today.
I want the people to understand that that you can go on, you can Google it, or you can go on the internet and Google in Garifuna or Black Carib, Arawak language. You can read about the Garifuna people. It's not extinct. We're here. We speak a language. We speak the culture. We are in Central America, Guatemala, Honduras, Belize, Nicaragua, and in Yurume, where we originated from. And we live here in the United States as well. And we have also a website. Is it okay that I give the website?
Yeah, and the website credits, but sure.
Yeah, www.hwgdance.com. You can go to that. You can go to Garifuna link as well and read about Garifuna people. And Garifuna Foundation also has a lot of information from Los Angeles. Hey, you can call us 646-245-7302 at any time.
Beautiful. And
communicate with us. But we're here, and we're here to help and to let people know about us. Please come and visit us at 1925 Grand Concourse on Saturday at 3 p.m. and come and dance Garifuna with us.
Beautiful, beautiful. My people at home, you've had an earful. This is a beautiful opportunity to learn about a new culture, and actually not a new culture, a culture that's been around, but it's new to my ears. But we're going to investigate it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to celebrate it, and we're going to enlighten you and expose you to more of it. And in part 2, when you see the actual the Garifuna Dance Company cultural extravaganza that was last November of 2009. It was an amazing event. I want to thank my guest, Ms. Luz Soliz, for being here and enlightening me and sharing and educating our audience. As we always to the Urban Wall Street Project. Be mindful, be prosperous, be educated. Take the time to understand and learn about different cultures and be accepting and admiring, because it's a beautiful world that we live in. So expose yourself and expose your mind. Check out Young Producers Television at youngproducers.tv. There's young people doing some amazing things. You can also catch this interview online at urbanwallstreet.tv. As I always say in closing, be mindful, be prosperous, stay positive, keep your head up. Till the next time, peace.